California critics out there who are promoting partisan political power grabs with outdated prejudices and rejecting everything that makes California truly great, we say this: we will not be distracted from getting shots in arms and our economy booming again.
Well, in so many words, Governor Newsom addressing the recall effort for the first time in his State of this State. So we want to welcome back at least half of our panel again. We lost Dan Walters. We can blame anything on the pandemic, right, including technology, so to speak. So Laura Cordy is back with us. And Laura, I want to get to this. We've heard for the first time, really, Newsom attack his critics in this State of the State. Do you think that was a good move? Because from a journalistic approach, was it time that he had to say something and stand up for himself?
You know, I think that at very least, Gavin Newsom addressed this before it qualifies officially, right? And I think that that was very strategic. He didn't call it out by name, and I don't know if that's intentional or if he's trying to follow the message that he's been putting out for the last couple of weeks, that he's really focused on vaccines. But, I think it was time for him to say something about it, or else it was going to get underneath him. So, he had a quick line to it, but I think, again, his messaging throughout the past couple of weeks and what's going to be throughout this recall attempt is he's focused on the issues. He's trying to paint this recall as a distraction, a waste of time and resources. So the best counter to that is not letting it distract him. So I think that's definitely what he's trying to do and the message he's trying to send.
Well, obviously we have a long list of Republicans already putting their name into the recall ballot, as you know. And you work behind the scenes there at the Sacramento Bee, obviously on the front lines with headlines as well. So I'm wondering, as you're starting to really look at this recall effort, do you think there's going to be a prominent Democrat that will jump into this race?
Whether it's prominent, I think, is up in the air. But I think at some point there definitely will be a Democrat who enters the race, simply because, I know it's so easy to enter this race. When there was a recall of Gray Davis, there were 135 candidates on that ballot. It was a huge ballot. It was a long list. They're trying to do everything they can right now, Newsom and his supporters, to discourage anybody from taking that shot. We saw on Friday, today is Friday. We saw on Friday that there was a group of LGBTQ leaders and lawmakers who came out in support of Newsom. Earlier that week, there was also a group of Asian Pacific Islander leaders. We expect to see African American leaders doing the same. So there's definitely a push right now to get as many Democrats pulling their ranks as they can around Newsom. Whether or not that discourages somebody from putting their name on the ballot, I think may be a long shot. This is a big state with a lot of Democrats who have a lot of money. So I think somebody's going to get on there.
We talk about this recall effort, and, Newsom has a lot of backing in the state. He won big over John Cox, as we know, here in 2018. But I'm really wondering, as you start to really, from a journalistic approach, as you start writing about this, the one thing that I'm wondering is this hurting more of a presidential run, or as opposed to a second term as governor?
That's a great question. I think this is definitely going to have an effect on whether or not Gavin Newsom will run for president. I know people have been kind of speculating that he wants to for a long time. Something that people have actually suggested to me in talking with sources and political advisors, Kamala Harris being where she is now really narrows that path for a different California Democrat like Gavin Newsom to make their way to the White House. And Gavin Newsom has been very supportive of Kamala Harris, so I can't see a situation where he would try and challenge her. So right now I would say that the recall is about his second term. I think if he's able to survive this, then he can start thinking about a presidential run if he wants to.
All right, lastly, we got about a minute left, and I'm just kind of wondering, we're kind of reflecting, especially this week, this week really marked when we understood that COVID-19 is now a pandemic, and we were out of toilet paper, we couldn't find Clorox wipes, and then we were on a lockdown, and then the deaths started piling up. And California was the first to go on lockdown. So as a writer, what's the headline a year later here in California?
The headline is we're still in it. Things are better. We've adjusted to it. But the headline is that it's been an absolutely brutal year. Nobody would disagree with that. It's been brutal for all people in all sectors of life, between the deaths, the loss of business, the kids who have been doing Zoom school for a year. It's been absolutely devastating. But, I've been very cautious of being too optimistic these past couple of months, but with the state's positivity rate falling as low as it is, it's down to around 2% these days. That's incredible. The vaccine, even though it was a slow start to roll it out, it's getting into people's arms. And so I think we're at the place now where we can be cautiously optimistic, but man, people are battered. I think that's the headline. People are battered.
Well, there you go. Laura Cordy, we appreciate it. Thanks for being a trooper here on this panel. We lost Dan, but that's okay. It happens. It's 2021. What else could happen? Thank you so much.
Happy to be here. Thanks so much.